Hello, I am Kyle. I'm the Engineering Director for Infrastructure at Pericak.com. And I'm going to tell you about building great developer infrastructure. It was called building killer developer infrastructure. I think Matt thought that it sounded aggressive, so I changed it. Also, defining great sounded more fun, so I'm going to do that. So what makes great developer infrastructure? What makes it really successful, really good? The first one we've talked a lot about, we talked about culture. Having happy, or maybe even I would say satisfied developers is really, it comes first. After that, we've got fast cycle time and deploy rate. You saw Matt's diagrams. Got to release quickly, get it into the market. And a low defect or bug rate. We can't be shipping too many defects while we do it. We can deploy really, really fast if we don't check if the thing we built is right. Just put it in prod. YOLO, release, you're good. We don't want to do that. So I'm going to break this down into 3 sections, and I'm going to talk fast. Our culture is great. We're really great at a lot of things here. We're not really great at finishing our slides quickly, it seems. So I'm going to talk fast. So let's start with preparation. And how do you prepare? How do you prepare to make great developer? How do you prepare to make great developer infrastructure? So the first thing you got to do is gather the experts, collect the developer input. When I joined Super.com a little over 3 years ago, one of the first things that Ryan asked me to take a look at is fixing something called one-shot. It wasn't broken, it was good, but it could be better. And I looked at it and I thought, this is a huge challenge. It is an existing product. It was a command line that we used to do our releases, to do our tests, that kind of thing. And I didn't know what was wrong with it. I just ran the company. So what did we do? We got everyone together. We got a bunch of senior engineers, people who used the tool, people who knew where the skeletons were, and we built a list of all of the things that we could do better. And that could have easily just become a project plan right then and there. And it would have been a good project. We could work on that, the DevOps team could just go, and it would have resulted in something really useful. There is a risk there. I'm sure everyone's heard the Henry Ford, if you ask what you want, you're gonna get a faster horse kind of quote. We did sort of need to step back in some cases and say, look at the first principles, look at where are these problems coming from, and try to solve for that as well. Not just, but also the things that people are asking for. A couple other things we did, and I'm jumping around in time a little bit, but if I could go back in time, this is the order that I would do all at once, is we would launch a developer survey. So we use Google Forms for this. There is really, really good software out there you can buy if you want to buy it, and it has pre-made questions, it's fantastic. But we knew what we wanted to ask. Also, a lot of the companies that publish this really good software tell you which questions they ask. So you can just go online and find out. We then took a Likert-based score and we made it an OKR target. When we started, we had 2 teams that were working on this, the DevOps team and an internal tools team that built a full stack internal tooling. We put it on both of their OKR sheets as this is a big deal for you. This is what you're going to work on, and you're going to improve this Likert score. Go. They're going to work from first principles. They're not going to build an upside down helicopter. They're going to figure it out. And the next thing that they're going to do is we're going to check in. So this one is probably the least useful, but most interesting one. We put a little survey after your deployment saying, thumbs up, thumbs down. How was this deployment? Was it okay? And every now and then we'll see a spike in a specific service, very often one of the front-end services in particular, that has become problematic. And we can dig into that. We can start asking questions, saying, whoa, what's going on? Why is this suddenly difficult to deploy? And figure out if there's something new we can do to get that quarterly developer survey score higher. So the next thing you want to do is you want to set your targets. There are a couple targets that make sense. The DORA metrics are the obvious one. If anyone isn't familiar with the DORA metrics, go look them up. They are pretty widely adopted now. The ones I personally, from an infrastructure perspective, really care about are cycle time and deploy time. Cycle time is basically the time from when you start work to when it gets to production. We talked about getting to production in a nuts and bolts way as basically, I think when the tag gets added, no, when the CI pipeline ends, to deploy to production. Deploy time is the time from when you merge the change that should be in production to when it ends up there. Is your CI pipeline fast? Is it stable? This deploy time starts to really suffer if you start putting things that can prevent the merge, and they do prevent the merge. So you want to watch that, but you need those things, and I'll get to that. The next is release stats. How many deploys are happening per month? I'm really proud of how many deploys we do per month. I probably could have put a stat in here. It's very often somewhere between 500 and 1,000 deployments to production per month. Those are live production changes. The browser automation duration and browser automation fail rate, also very, very interesting ones, specifically because of that deploy time. If they start to go wrong, then your deploy time goes up. Lastly, the OKRs. Talked about the DevX, the survey score. We've also got a couple on the QA side that were really interesting. You need to trust your tests. Quality is speed. If you don't have good tests covering the things that matter, you can't feel good about having hundreds and hundreds of releases every month. So we actually put some OKRs in to make sure that we were writing automated tests that cover the new features that are coming out. That's hard to do. It's a very human process. We use some tooling in Notion and in our WebDriver at the time, now Playwright test suites to measure this. But it does take work. And adoption stats. I will talk about this later, but one of the challenges we learned about is adoption doesn't come for free when you build really great developer infrastructure. You need to really evangelize. So the last thing that you would do to prepare for this is identify the constraints. If you haven't read Phoenix Project and you're a DevOps nerd, go read it. It's fun. There's a sort of software version called the Unicorn Project, also very good. But one of the sort of recurring themes is look at the constraints in your system. Look at where things slow down and work on that, because nothing else is going to matter downstream of that. So one of our biggest constraints, and the most noticeable one to me, was DevOps availability. Our DevOps team was spending time doing things like figuring out which version of Boto 3 you have installed on your laptop so that you can get your development card. It kept coming up, Boto 3 specifically, it was a weird one. So other than that, they were just spending a lot of time doing things they didn't need to do. They were trying to make change at scale. They were trying to get everyone to please install this package so that we can accomplish this next project. They were trying to make databases for people, make repositories for people. These are things that are easily automated and made self-serve. We needed to free their time up so they could go take on other interesting projects. The other one, human releases. We had what at the time looked really cool, a full chat ops release flow. Everyone says thumbs up, I'm okay with it. I was actually really impressed with it. It's still really cool, we do use it sometimes, but it wasn't as fast as releasing on merge. That's where we wanted to get to. That's even faster. So we had to fix that, and we had to get some software tooling gaps closed up along the way. The biggest one is we really wanted to be able to do canary releases. This is when you push your code to prod, the robots watch it, and if it's bad, they roll it back. Metrics don't look good in Datadog or in Track.js, something is spiking and it wasn't before, you split your traffic in half. All right, revert. So, what do we do next? The first one, we get DevOps some time back, right? We gotta free them up. So, we rolled out, as we mentioned before, our internal developer platform. There are a lot of good products out there now. We chose Ops Level. Their killer feature that we really loved was campaigns. So the idea with campaigns is you write an automated check, and it says, has this happened yet? And you can then scale it out to every team. You push this out, and then the DevOps team does not need to spend their time following up with everyone saying, have you please done this yet? No, it's done, it's reported, and then you can promote these checks into a maturity rubric. So you can have quality, you can have security, you can have these different long-lived checks. A really good one from a quality perspective, for instance, is you have not had a 5xx rate over, 5% over some period of time. If you have, your score goes down. Matt reports on these scores when he does laps. That was like the 2.5 thing you saw in there. It is a really good signal, so all the teams care. And we use it pretty much to improve the stability, all of these things across the board. Next one, distributing service ownership with sustainability groups. Very, very often the DevOps team is the first team that somebody talks to when something goes wrong. Hey DevOps, this is broken, can you help? Very, very often DevOps says, that's a cool story, I didn't build this. I know who did, let's talk to them too. By having automated sustainability groups with a tool, we built a chat ops tool for this. You can say, at sustainability front end service, it will go find the correct person who built that front end service, and you can talk to them directly. DevOps is probably so they get involved, they watch all the incident channels. But at least the right person is getting contacted first. And we link this in also. The last one is the coder environment. This has been talked to in some of the other talks, so I'm not going to go super deep into it. But basically, we had GitPod, now we have coder. One of the things that hasn't been talked about in the other talks is this empowered the DevOps team to make change to people's local environments at scale. You see this sometimes in IT organizations where they use something, say if you've got MacBooks and you've got Jamf, or if you've got Windows and you've got Active Directory, you can push something out. You can make everyone's environment do this. From a development environment perspective, that's not something that's easy to do. With Coder, it is. We want to put fancy MCP configurations in everyone's AI cursor environments. That's hard. Okay, no, it's not. Go make a new Coder environment. It's got to be baked into it. Go. It takes a minute. So, addressing the staging constraint. This is my favorite slide, and I'm going to spend more time on it. So, this is also the only one I made a flowchart for. So, we built something that I'm really proud of, which is our feature branch staging environments. This is something that can save your companies a lot of money, and it's something that really lets us get that single piece flow, that not integrating a whole bunch of changes into one release at the same time process. So what we do is when you create a merge request, so even if you're not done working yet, you can just make a draft merge request. That's okay. It's just a trigger that we chose to start this process. We create a Helm release. I had the DevOps manager look at this and correct me. It's not just it's a full Helm release. But I didn't have time to get this slide. So we create a new Helm release, and it does run a deployment for what it's worth. And that has a Docker container with your changed code in it, and that is running alongside the normal staging container in the normal staging environment. So if we have 10 people all working on one service, all making their own changes, we have 11 services running. The staging one and the 10 other ones. But we do not have a different copy of every other service. We've got like over 50 microservices running for like various things. We're not copying all those other ones for this. Then what we do is we set up a virtual service and destination rule in Istio. So Istio is absolute magic. If you're not using it, but you are using Kubernetes, go look at it. It is the coolest thing in the world from a networking perspective. What it lets you do in this specific case is you can set a header. We use the mod header Chrome extension. It's free, but there's a million ways to do this. And we made it so if you put your branch name as your header, then regardless how far down the microservice call stack it is, when it comes to your service, it goes to the one you're working on. And then it goes back down the rest of the chain. Now this is really powerful when you start talking about automated tests. So for reasons I won't go into because I don't have time, but talk to me after if you want, we moved from WebDriver to Playwright. Much more stable, much quicker. What we do with Playwright is we have the test run with that header. So you can actually run browser automation tests, regression tests, against just your change before you merge. And then you can do it again when you deploy. And we have 2 separate suites for that because we want it to be really fast. But that's the really short of this. In the interest of time, I'm not going to go too further into this. Come talk to me after if you want to know more. We also needed a super CLI. Probably most companies have built an internal CLI at some point. It makes sense. It's an easy way to wrangle all of your scripts together. Ours is amazing. So I'm just going to touch on the highlights in 2 commands. Super start service name, and then super test. I can check out the repository that I chose, fully set up the virtual environment, fully install any other dependencies in there, and then run all of the tests. I don't need to know anything else about it. You do this in the Coder environment and it's done. The super test command is even really smart. If you've written a test, it will go find where you put it. You just give it like a vague part of the test name. It's going to find it for you and run it. There are some rules, but yeah. So really, really impressive. We've also got some really magical local development flows that have made things really fast for particularly front-end developers. where it will do networking magic. It will run a staging container with all the secrets and all of the environment config that is typically a real pain to set up. It will run it up in Kubernetes and forward the traffic. So you go to your local host in your browser, and then it will go all the way up and back down without you knowing anything. All you just wrote is super local, whatever. I'm not going to go into the rest of these in the interest of time, but everyone skipped AI and it feels wrong. You can configure the MCP integrations from here. I would like to turn on the ability to talk to ops level. I would like to talk to Notion. I would like to talk to all of the other things in here. You can control it in your coder environment from the super CLI. Releasing faster. So you've done all the things. You've got canary releases, you've got fantastic tooling, you've got developer environments. You want to go fast. You need to stop queuing up a whole bunch of changes at once. What you need to do is release on merge, and that is scary. It's scary because you don't know who's going to watch it, and you don't know what's going to break. So you make the robots watch it, and you tell someone when it breaks. So the canary releases cover it. The sustainability groups are the ones who get notified when it breaks. And honestly, we even notify them, we give them like 15 minutes or half an hour saying like, you know what, we're not gonna roll it back, go look at it. But if they don't, we roll it back. And we don't release at night. That was the other one, you can do the old style, thumbs up release, but otherwise we don't release at night. The guardrails are in place and the QA team watches. The QA team is always watching the releases, making sure they go out, making sure that they're safe. So, where are we going? We're using AI. I wanted to put the whole XKCD comment for this in, but it didn't look good small, so the URL, go ahead, look it up, it's fine. So put the whole, but Cursor, Client, Copilot, and such. Cursor is winning, but not the only contender here. We have a policy of pretty much use what is good within reason, and I don't know, we have rules for the company. But Cursor is certainly getting very, very widely adopted, and it's awesome. It's so good. You can do things that I would never have guessed you could do. With the MCP integrations, you can look up your current Jira ticket, and then you can start working on it entirely within chat. We've had people who have never written software before, opening up Cursor, asking questions about the code, getting stuff done. Autopilot agents are next. They're really awesome. I'm very excited about what we're going to be able to do with that. And a heads up that usage stats are tricky. We are collecting, when the Super CLI comes in here again, measuring AI use is a challenge for everyone. I saw DX, the company just published their take on that the other day. It is a recurring theme everywhere. We are doing it. We will absolutely be iterating on how we do it because it is hard and what we're doing isn't perfect. But it's good. Just bragging about some of the MCP integrations we have. In the interest of time, I'm going to not dwell on this, but if you want to talk about it after, absolutely. And this is very much roadmap. And this is, by the way, the last of this, but these are the things I'm excited about doing next with our developer tooling. So on the security side, we've already started doing automated threat modeling and using AI to generate exploit code. So, bug bounty hunter says, I can do this. Can you? Yeah, Cursor says, no, yes, whatever. We can check really fast. On the quality side, pretty much all of our QAs now are using the Playwright MCP to write end-to-end tests really, really fast. If you can play with it, it takes like 5 minutes to set up, and it's really cool. I would like us to get to a point where in the bugs channels where people report a bug, it not only creates the Jira ticket using the MCP, but it creates a merge request for that bug. It'll be a draft, it won't be perfect, but having it already there as a starting point is going to be really cool. A lot of the technology exists for this already, we just need to glue it together. And then in the SDLC, we're playing with AI code reviews right now. This is actually our second swing at it. The first one could have gone better. I feel pretty optimistic about this one. Matt and his team are doing a lot of stuff around the PDLC, the product development lifecycle, of which the SDLC is a subset with AI in that. And I'm really excited about putting Cursor files globally everywhere as a way of sort of getting AI to do standards for across the whole company. So this is the last slide. There are no other slides. You can ask questions now. Thank you. Yeah.
So all the stuff that you were excited about, are those experiments?
No, because
Just wondering how
no, it's a good question.
it is.
I have few enough customers that I can call them on.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So my customers are the developers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are startup gauges, presentation. I don't have thousands of developers.
Yeah.
The engineering team's like 100 people.
Because I was wondering, how do you know? There's so much out there. So how did you know that it was Playwright? And how did you know what I mean? Like, how did you come up?
Yeah. So for instance, for Playwright, when we chose it, we did a a product selection process. We tried out several varying things, like Cypress and a few other ones too, like UXide and Playwright. It was the most one. One of the factors was we figured Microsoft was probably going to be ahead of the game on the AI side, and thankfully we were right because their MCP plugin is fantastic. But yeah, we do typically, when we are adopting internal tooling, experiment with a few alternatives, and if we are evaluating a product, we have the same thing. Any other questions? Yeah.
What kind of computers does the developer use?
MacBooks. Although with Coder, it
Yeah.
wouldn't really matter.
Right.
And it's not all MacBooks. Some people have Windows. Some people might have Linux. I don't think anyone has Linux. But mostly MacBooks.
When you use Cursor, what language model will you call?
When we use Cursor, what language models do we use? I believe the developers get to pick on the bottom left which one you want to use. Personally, I've mostly just used the default, whatever it's been auto-populating to, and it's been working okay, but I don't get to write a lot of code lately. So, probably not the best person to answer that. Any other questions? Yeah?
Honest opinion, do you think with everything that's happening with AI, is it going to impact the size of your team, especially for developers?
So the question is, with everything happening with AI, is it going to impact the size of our team, especially with developers? I don't think so. We're growing. We're hiring so much right now. And we are, I think, more eager to adopt AI than most companies. I think we're going to get more done, absolutely, but I don't see it slowing things down. One of the sort of common takes on the internet is like, it's going to replace junior people. We hire so many interns, and they are so effective. Like, I really don't see AI use slowing down our hiring. Any other questions?